What's going on, guys? I'm Mike Echoes, and the settings you're about to see are the culmination of about 1,200 hours of testing and tweaking that I've done over the course of the last 2 years to get these settings perfect. A lot of things have changed since then, so I've modified these several times, but I'm confident that with the release of Fjordur last month, that all the tweaking that the devs have done is going to be over with. You're not going to have to use another video after this one. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put the timestamp at the bottom of the video right about now. So you can just go all the way to the end. I'll have all the settings that I change up on screen. So you can just change what I've changed on your own settings without having to go through the whole video. But if you want to know why I'm changing what I'm changing, follow along with me. Let's do this. Alright guys, we're here in the single player settings menu. The first thing we're going to be messing with is going to be the difficulty level. We're going to bring that up to 1.0. This is going to bring your dinos up to level 150, and it's going to make the bosses punch like they were meant to, because nobody likes fighting a weak boss. Second thing we're going to mess with, player damage. I'm going to bring that up to 2.0. Does not increase the damage that your dinos do. It only increases the damage that the player does. Player damage output is all that's affected here. Honestly, it makes the game feel more like a first-person shooter. Now, I catch a lot of flack for it, but I'm telling you, if you're by yourself, you're going to have a good time with this setting. Next thing on the list, XP multiplier. Don't touch it. A lot of people bring this up. You're going to progress too quickly. You're not going to make use of your explorer notes, your alpha dinos, or early game methods of getting XP. And you're going to be way ahead of the game before you need to be. You're going to have things unlocked like the Rex saddle, your Spino saddle, your RG saddle. You're not going to actually get to use a lot of the other dinos that you would have to use if not. So leave XP multiplier at 1.0. You're going to progress the way the game was intended to be. Taming speed. This is the big one. 4.0 I've found is not too fast. It doesn't break a lot of the mechanics that the devs put into the game, but it's fast enough where you're not going to be spending an hour almost with kibble to tame a max level Rex. You're still going to have to use your kibble and prime meat to not lose taming effectiveness on most of your dinos. You're still going to have to use that narcotic, but you're just not going to have to spend the ungodly amount of time it usually takes on official settings. 4.0, you're going to have a good time. Next setting on the list, harvest amount. Bring this to 2.0. This is what harvesting amounts are on Evo events, and in my opinion, this is where they need to be all the time, honestly. Basically, this just makes it where you're not going to have to grind and grind and grind to get those resources to build your bases. Your metal runs are going to be better, all that kind of stuff. It's just going to kind of speed things up the way they would be during an Evo event. Harvest amount, 2.0, you're going to enjoy it. Moving on. Next on the list is enable crosshair. Now this is entirely for immersive purposes, but I disable this. See, there are crosshairs and scopes, things of that nature that you can get for bows and your weapons that this makes useless if you have it enabled. So for immersive purposes, uncheck that. It's going to be much more satisfying when you get those kills with the bows early game, and those scopes are going to be much more useful. Leave that disabled. Next thing on the list is going to be maximum difficulty. We're going to check this. That way, even on the island, your dinos are going to spawn at max level 150. That's all that setting does. Make sure it's checked. Another immersive setting here, completely for immersive purposes, I disabled this. There are things in the game like the torch, night vision goggles, saute, and the newly added Desmodus that actually give you night vision, help you see at night. And with this setting enabled, it kind of makes those things useless. So immersive purposes, again, leave this disabled. Now, here's a big one. With my settings that differ from a lot of the other videos I see, I leave single player settings unchecked. They mess with so many different numbers and the way things are handled in the game that you're not going to have an authentic experience like you would have on a server or on officials. So disable single player settings. You're going to have a much better time with your dinos. Your dinos aren't going to be overpowered. You're going to fight the bosses the way they were meant to be fought. Keep this disabled. Use corpse locator. It's honestly up to preference, but I keep it enabled because it really is terrible losing all your gear because you can't find your body. Disable structure placement collision. Enable this. It just makes snap points and things a little better. It allows you to build a little easier. Allow multiple platform floors. I enable this. Allow unlimited respecs. I enable that. It will just enable the ability to respec your points as many times as you want to. All the rest of this, leave off. Moving along to advanced settings, the first thing we're going to be messing with here is going to be allow flyer carry PV. Check this. This is going to allow your flyers to pick up other dinos. Next thing we're going to be messing with is going to be allow anyone baby imprint cuddle. If you check this and you are in a non-dedicated session, your friends will be able to cuddle your newborns. Next thing we're going to be messing with on the list is going to be mating interval. I'm going to bring this to 0.001. This is just going to make the cooldown timer between breedings much faster. 0.001 is where you want. Egg hatch speed we're going to bring to 999. Do not bring it any higher or it will revert your settings back to 1.0. Baby mature speed we're going to bring to 320. That is actually going to allow your babies to mature in about 12 to 15 minutes, give or take. It's going to be much better when you are trying to stack mutations to have things going right. Next thing on the agenda is going to be baby cuddle interval multiplier. With the setting we have for baby mature speed, we're going to want to bring this to 0.007. That is the sweet spot to be able to get 100% imprinting bonuses on your dinos. For a few dinos, you may still have to use the Pterodon, but this should be a sweet spot for most, if not all, dinos. Next thing on the list we're going to be messing with is going to be all the way down at the bottom here. It's going to be allow raid dino feeding. This is just going to allow you to feed raid dinos such as the Titans, the Titanosaur, and since you're in single player, it doesn't really matter. If you want a giant roaming base built on the back of a Titanosaur, you can have one. Check this and you'll be able to force feed those dinos to keep them alive. One other thing here I wanted to go over. A lot of people will bring up the loot quality. Don't do this. You're going to have broken items that are going to be way too OP, and oftentimes if you bring this up too high, you'll actually have blueprints that you can't even craft because you can't get enough of the resources into the smithy or the fabricator. And that should just about do it. If you learned anything or got anything from this video, you want to see more content, hit that like button, consider subscribing. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.